Which way? Are you going to go this way? Are you going to go that way? Are you going to go the other way? So which way are we supposed to go? Did you find that nowadays we get so many conflicting advice as far as what we should do, right? Because it's unknown. And then we get people coming to us to tell us, well, in all my experience, you should never do this, or you should always do that. And they are saying the reverse of each other. And you're like, what am I supposed to do? I just watched a video with Sanjay Nat, very wise professional speaker, who was telling us, just about to give us a whole bunch of advice as to how to build our speaking business. And the first thing he said was super interesting. He said, please proceed with caution with my advice, because this is what worked for me. It doesn't mean that it's going to work for you. And I loved that. I love the fact that at the end of the day, whatever worked for me, because I share my experience with you guys and I tell you what worked for me, it doesn't mean that it's going to work for you. So you have to take all the information from everywhere and then decide for yourself, what is my path? How do I find my path? Because you're not supposed to be on somebody else's path. You're supposed to have your own. Because if you are following what other people are telling you to do, then all of a sudden you're in their path. You're not on yours anymore. So you have to be you. You have to do you. So here's something that I choose to do for myself, is that I always listen. I always listen to people's advice. And then I sit back and I let it work with my unconscious mind for a few days before I would act on it. And then I realized sometimes in the moment when the idea came to me, I thought, oh, this is brilliant, I have to do that. But 3 or 4 days later, I don't think it's such a great idea anymore for me, because in my own reality, this may not apply the very same way. So I like to gather information, think about it, and then I compare myself with myself instead of comparing myself with others. So I look at where I was before, I look at where I want to go, and then I notice my own evolution and where I'm going and where I want to be. Have you ever noticed when you look at some material that you've produced a year ago or 2 years ago, is it ever embarrassing? I watch videos of myself that I did like 5 years ago, and it's like, oh my gosh, this is crazy. Even some courses that I recorded in March last year, a year ago, and I'm already embarrassed. You know why? That is my way of looking back at my stuff and my way of knowing that I have grown. So if you look back at your post of a month ago and at the work that you did a year ago or 2 years ago, and then you're very happy with it and you're still doing the same thing, then you're not growing. So if you, like, we should potentially be not embarrassed, that's not the right word, just thinking that it's very cute and funny and that we're so much better now is the answer to, am I growing? Because if you look at the stuff that you were doing before and you're happy with it, it means that, hey, if you were saying the same things and you were doing the very same thing 2 years ago and you're still doing that, maybe you haven't grown so much. So maybe it's time to ask around and ask, what are you doing? What are you doing? What are you doing? Take all these contradicting opinions, put them together and say, okay, now me. If I do me, what do I do with that information? And how does that apply for me in my business, in my path, in where I want to go? So very, very wise advice from Sanjay Nat. Approach with caution and make sure that you are always taking care of what you want and always making sure that you are taking some time before you would apply somebody else's advice. and compare yourself with yourself and look at what you were doing before, that's your proof that you're growing. And now ask yourself, how am I going to be in a month from now or in 2 months from now, that I will look back at today and think that this was, oh my gosh, I've grown so much since. So what is going to be the key element, maybe the course that you will take, or maybe something that you will do that will take you to that next level. So next time you're not sure where to go and you need to find your own path, compare yourself with yourself. Take some time before you get anybody else's opinion as part of your plan, and then do you.